you doing then today? This is Sunday. Ooh. I actually did a video yesterday, but I didn't want to put it up. I'm just popping up to buy some crystals of a friend of ours that he has a market stall in Tynemouth Market. I have a Sunday market. Well, I think it's Saturday and Sunday, but we've only ever went on a Sunday. He sells like crystals and all that type of stuff. But it's for Keegan, so we can have some crystals for her, because I don't think she's gonna last the weekend really. She's not moving whatsoever now, breathing very shallow, and she's just simply not eating at all. But you know, so it won't be very long now whatsoever. Maybe it's even today and she might pass. So we there's a pet crematorium. It's right in the middle of Northumberland, you know, just on a farm, and they've put this pet crematorium in this farm. You know, it's right in the middle of the Northumberland countryside. It's absolutely gorgeous, you know, up on the hills. But it's just a very small business. They don't, you know, it's not an industrial thing at all, and they're lovely people. So you know, they only do like one pet, you know, at a time. So they have a special room that you go and, you know, they lay. It's where we took Beauty in June. So that's where we're gonna go. So she's too big to like bury, you know, like in the garden like that. She's quite a big dog. So you know, we have to go to the crematorium. But you know, with it being a small little business, they only do one at a time, you know, so you know what you're getting is yours. And then we'll have the crystals, and we'll put the crystals in, and I'm gonna go and buy a blanket, you know, so we'll wrap her in a blanket. But yeah, just like watching everything going on around the world, and the financial system collapsing faster and faster and faster, and they're trying to keep telling people to prepare yourself and educate yourself on the decentralized finance, because this is coming like the speed of light. You know, there's the bank collapsed. What was it called? Silvergate Financial Institution or whatever it was in the United States, that collapsed. And then that other bank, Silicon Valley Bank, I think they said it was something like the second largest bank in America or something like that. That did a bail-in, right? That's the first bail-in from this period. You know, we know they've done it before, like the Northern Rock here in 2007, and it's the same thing. They had all the people queuing up outside the Northern Rock around the northeast of England, Newcastle, and obviously they couldn't open. They had no money to give to anyone. They haven't got money anyway, banks, have they? But people were trying to get their cash out of the bank, and the police were there to stop them getting in, you know. And that's the thing that, you know, I've seen a report there at that Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, and they had the police there to stop the people getting into the bank, which you get, it's insane anyway, the way people are, because there's no money in the banks anyway. It's all just like computerized digits. Right down the coast there now, beautiful. It's not the greatest weather, but it's like a beautiful coast. But yeah, so that's the bail-ins have started, and like, you know, this could be how, you know, the domino effect that they're wanting, because they are wanting it. It's just something to start it, so then they just collapse them all, boom, 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 like that. You know, so the you've got to start really trying to educate yourself. You know, I've tried hard to try and find things out and learn things and get into decentralized finance, and I'm still trying to learn more, and you know, and I'm doing things trying to protect myself, and obviously looking at other things like as well, like gold and silver, you know. And at the end of the day, people say like, well, what would be the use of gold? You can't spend gold, but in truth, gold and silver, they are the only real money that exists. You know, all of this fiat currency is complete fake fiat. It's all going to be disappearing extremely soon. You know, I mean, it's like it's just this big reset that's coming, and it is coming fast. So, you know, like, you've got to start really trying to get. There's no point in saying, oh, I'm scared of digital currency, I'm scared of crypto, I don't like it, oh, it's all fake. Well, how can you say it's fake? You know, like fiat currency in Blacklaw's dictionary, it actually states fiat means fake. I mean, it's just not real. You know, it's a promissory note. It's written on there, I promise to pay. You know, and it's not backed by anything apart from your, like, incorrect belief that it has value. It has no value whatsoever. And you're going to find out very, very soon how literally it's valued at zero. So, you know, and this is like happening, it's like rapidly, and there's a lot of banks as well that were tied in capital wise to that Silicon Valley Bank, so they're all going to get affected. Now that's what I'm saying, that could be the domino effect. You know, I was reading one report on Financial News, and the people that have got uninsured money, right, because you know it's insured in the UK, it's insured up to 85,000. I think it's something like $250,000, I think is like the insured money in the USA. But there's a lot of people that were in that bank, and they're reporting there, that have a lot of uninsured money. So all they're getting, right, is a certificate to say that they are owed this currency. You know, you're just getting a certificate, and then once they've actually finished with the administration, then you know that would be, you swap that certificate for the money. Do you think that's going to happen? Really? Can you see that happening? Of course not. Absolutely not. You know, and that happened there. It's just the same as what they did with the Northern Rock when they did the bail-in, and in Cyprus when they did the bail-in. And you know, prepare yourself, because it's going to get a very, very rocky road, you know. And just got to try and start to use a lot more discernment, because I'm seeing people like following a lot of bad people doing bad things, and saying bad things. So you know, hopefully, oh man, you know, this idea and everything, that there's going to be, you know, a great big rescue financial package, and everyone's going to get rich, and you know, all of your bond money is going to be repaid to you, and you know, they call it, what is it, like Nasara Jasara, or however you pronounce it. You know, this is simply not going to happen. You're not going to have anybody coming to rescue you. There's nobody coming to the rescue. And it's going to get very, very, very tough. And if you think that there's a reset to be had that's like in a good way, then you're in for a shock, you know. So just prepare yourself for like getting into like a fiat, to get away from the fiat currency and try and figure out ways of where you can actually get involved in a way that it doesn't get tied in purely on a universal credit system and CBDCs, and that's all you can rely on, you know. Because as soon as that comes out, I mean, you've got the digital pound already, it's been out for a while, you know, and you're only allowed a certain amount of it in there, but once it's actually been done, they're going to change it gradually, you know, but probably the way they've been acting lately, they'll probably do it very quickly, so that it's completely programmable, and, you know, you'll not be allowed to spend it in certain places, etc, etc. So, you know, we're looking at different ways, and we've looked at different ways on how to actually hopefully protect ourselves from that. So, you know, nobody knows like what's going to happen like date wise or anything like that, but things are speeding up very quickly, very, very quickly, and you can see it. It's getting faster than the amount of people that are pegging it left, right and centre. They flying all this mystery coincidental numbers going up there as people disappear from this realm, and it's getting faster and faster and faster, isn't it? All the jelly beans is all taking effect on a lot of them now, knocking them out left, right and centre. And like the amount of people that you see that have got extremely aggressive cancers is flying through the roof, isn't it? It's all happening all at the same time. And it's like everybody seems to be like sprinting. A lot of times, you know, you'd think, and you're looking at like a lot of people around me, and they're just oblivious to everything, you know. And you think, I wish I could be like you and just not know everything that was going on and not care about it. But we have to try and help people, I suppose. Like I was down in Beverley in East Yorkshire last weekend, had a great time, so thank you for everybody who went there. Had a good event on the Saturday, and it was at the golf club there, you know, and thank you to Chrissy for running everything, like with the food and everything like that. Did a great job, and we had a good time, and it was a good event. And then now I'm going down to finishing some slides, very important slides, getting ready for the event in Kings Langley next month in April. So keep moving, trying to keep helping people, but not everybody wants to listen. But you know, you've got to try and do things as best you can, really. It's got a beautiful beach down on the left here. This is Tynemouth. Beautiful beach all along here. They've got a hotel here. I don't know what it's called now. It's actually getting renovated. It's called the Park Hotel. We actually had a few big fight nights in there. Organised some good fights in there. Had people from all over Europe coming. Yeah, it was packed out. It was really good. It's getting all refurbished there now. Actually, I think the last time that we actually had a fight there wasn't my night. I didn't organise it. It was like my son fighting. Yeah, I think when I first came back from Spain, maybe 2013. Yeah, maybe 14, 13. I think it was first or second round knockout. Beat the guy. So that was good. But Yeah, these banks that are going to be, you've already started seeing them failing and flopping, and a lot of it tied to the cryptocurrency as well. You know, companies, not the currencies, but this Silicon Valley Bank was like a lot of like startup money, you know, like lending money for startups and everything. All of them have disappeared. You've got to, you know, like with the FTX collapse and everything like that, and all this nonsense. It's just making it, it's all a distraction, trying to stop you really knowing what's going on, and also making everybody try, oh no, don't do this cryptocurrency, it's all a fraud. You know, you should see the banks, right? Don't listen to what they're saying, watch what they're doing. You're having all the major banks that have already massively invested in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies and distributed ledger technologies, you know, massively invested in it because they know what's happening, they know what's coming, you know. So you don't do what they say, do what they do. And also oh, hang on, it's getting busy along here. Very lovely place, and coming into Tynemouth, another beautiful bay down there. Had an outdoor swimming pool. It's been shut for years now, but right there. Just careful. Yeah, but this is where the market is. This is where the guy's going to go and buy some crystals so that we can put them in the box. You know, to go with Beauty. Sorry, to go with Keegan next to Beauty, because we've got Beauty in the garden already, the boxer. So, yeah, I was watching these people talking about like the legal system the other day. You know, I've just been going over some slides there, like showing the difference between legal and lawful. And I was listening to these people saying like how fantastic the legal system is, and it's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with the system, and that it's a perfect system. You know, right, this is the perfect system. You know, the system that's ruled by psychopathic murderers that have murdered millions of people right across the planet for hundreds and hundreds of years, and now they're murdering millions of other people right in front of your face. You know, the same system. Oh, it's a fantastic system, isn't it? If that's all they're doing is killing a few people. The legal system is the most corrupt system that you could ever imagine, and you cannot change it, and you cannot destroy it. You know, you can learn more about it and be able to use the system, you know, to some effect, and also like learn the background of it, how to actually use the different jurisdictions to stay away from legislation, to stay away from statutory legislation. And how do you do that? Well, you can do it through your private trusts by using the correct jurisdiction, and the correct jurisdiction is equity, which is, there's two jurisdictions in the UK law, which is statutory legislation and equity, or common law and equity. Now it's like, you know, you hear people talk about common law and saying, oh, I'm living in common law, standing common law. Common law, right, the way that the legal societies see it, okay, you have common law and equity, the two jurisdictions, and the common law is the law that is made by judges in the high courts, like case law, and then that sets the precedent for all the other courts to follow, you know. But you've got the Senior Courts Act, and I can't remember the dates now. I'll put it up I'll show you the dates. On the Senior Courts Act, and Article 49 or Section 49, whatever it's called, and that states there that whenever there's a clash of equity and the common law when dealing in the same matter, that equity shall prevail. So, you know, it's also an equitable maxim that equity will always prevail when the common law and equity clash. So that's how we can actually work more towards protecting ourselves in equity. So it doesn't matter whatever court you're in, all courts have to give way to equity, you know, when things clash. So you have to sort of, like, you know, learn a lot more about equity, trusts and equity, and that type of thing. You know, Suits in Chancery, that's a good book. Gibson's Suits in Chancery. It's a big, thick book. It's not, you know, bedtime reading, but it's massively interesting when you read through it, you know. Law in there as well, so it'll help you pick things out and try and you know, like big bus coming, and help you, you know, when you're talking about your private trusts and everything, and how to keep it private. How do you keep it private? Well, you know, you've got to keep it in equity rather than having it, and you can't go and start, you know, writing in acts and statutes in your documentation, because what you're doing is you're putting it back into the public, and the statutory legislation public. So we have to keep it private with our language in there as well, and also the stuff that you actually put it in and how you actually talk about it when you put it in. It is possible to you know, own nothing and control everything, which is a lot better than like own nothing and trying to be happy, because I don't really think that's going to work. Or maybe people will be so depressed that they will be happy that they own nothing. I don't know. But you know, what you're going to be putting in to the trust, your assets, to protect it, you can have the name changed on the land registry if you haven't got a mortgage, via the TR1 and the AP1, and you can get it changed to, like, you know, the trustee's name of your private trust. And then you can do the RX1 to, like, ring fence the equity so nobody else can put charges on without the written permission, signed permission of the trustees. Okay? But you got to make sure that when you're putting it in, when you do your documentation, you don't write in property of, because the property, right? I mean, there's an argument. Is it the bricks and the mortar that you're talking about, or is it the actual the land that it's on? Because you know you don't own it. You never own it. You only can ever be a tenant in common, or a joint tenant, because it's already in a trust, that land. But you do own the title. But what you could do is just say, well, you've actually got the beneficial equitable interest in the property, which is that you use it, don't you? You live in it. Or at least, you know, even if you're renting it out, that still is your beneficial equitable interest. So you can actually put the beneficial equitable interest in the property in the private trust, and then you're not actually making it public, because the public side, right, is the trust it's already in, which is owned by the Crown Corporation, which is the same thing with your car. The car's owned by the DVLA, and you are just the registered keeper. So it's not the car per se that you're going to be putting in a trust, it's the beneficial equitable interest, the use of the car. That's what you're actually putting in a trust. But you can still change your name, you know, like, so that it's not your legal fiction title that's on the V5 document as the registered keeper. It can be, and on mine it says trustee of my private trust. So you can get that changed. So, and that's just the keeper's document. So that's who the keeper is, the registered keeper. But you got to remember that the term, the private trust, right, whatever you want to call it, you know, the Tynemouth private trust, compared to like a legal fiction, compared to like a corporation, a limited company, for instance, has no legal personality. All right. So if you have got, I'm not telling you what to do, by the way. I'm not saying you should do these things, but right, if they were gonna like issue a ticket, for instance, let's just say a parking ticket, one I'm dealing with right now, which is like a private one. I can't remember which one, a UK something or other, you know, private parking companies. And what they try and do is they try and enforce the Protection of Freedoms Act 2012. What a crazy name for to try and give you charges, parking charges, what they call them, because they're not allowed to give fines. They're not allowed to be seen to be fining or punishing the driver. All right, and that's on the Protection of Freedoms Act 2012, and they're only also allowed. They're not allowed to fine or punish the driver, but they're only allowed to cover the lost earnings, the loss of earnings from you not paying the parking charge to the landowner, the landholder. Okay, so and they break it all the time. They break all their own regulations all the time, but they hope, or presume they're hoping that nobody would sit and read through all the legislation to find out what they're actually trying to do. But I did, so I know all what they're actually trying to rely on, and they're breaking it all the time. You know, it has to be seen to be fair, and it can only be seen to be like fair administration charges. Well, £170 administration charge is definitely not fair for not paying a charge within 2 weeks. And also, you know, it has to be seen to be fair to cover the losses of earnings. Well, the loss of earnings could only be comparable to a nearby car park, which in Newcastle we can park for £3 all day. So if we can park for £3 all day, how comes it can be like £100 be seen as fair? But anyway, well, the point I was making is that if they turn around and say, well, we're going to take you to court, they have to have a legal fiction to take to court. You know, they have to issue a summons, right? Like, just if whatever you haven't paid. But how can you do it if it's not a legal personality, if there's not a legal character, if there's not a legal fiction? You know, that whatever time out private trust is not a legal fiction. It's not hasn't got a legal personality, so it's not in the jurisdiction. You see? So that'll be interesting. See what happens. But anyway, nearly coming up to half an hour. I'm parked up now, so I'm going to go and see my mate Paul. Hopefully, the last time we came up here, he wasn't here, but he's normally here every week. But I'm going to see if I can get some crystals. If he's not there, there's a couple of other places that do it as well. Very sad occasion. Nearly 16 years for Keegan, you know. First dog that we rescued when we were in Spain. And yeah, very sad. So we have to go and prepare things to, like, you know, let her go to spirit, so she can be with her brother and sisters. Anyway, but yeah, so like, you have to try and get yourself like educated, you know. And when I'm saying about like making sure that you write your trusts and equity, there's also like the recognition of trust tax. I think that's 1981. I'll put a little image of it as well up onto there, and that states there that if you don't express, I'm talking about a written down private trust, has to be expressed by writing it down for it to be recognised as the law, the set law has chosen. I think that's Article 6, but I'll put it up there, I'll link it so you can have a look. Yeah, I'm sure it is Article 6, and that's written in by the Hague Convention, you know. So and that states there that you can actually write the law that you choose as being the set law. So you can choose the law of equity or the jurisdiction of equity, and it keeps it out of the public, completely away from legislation. So whenever you're dealing with anything like that, and you've got it written out like that, and you're keeping it in the actual private realm by stating it's in equity, that's what I would see as being private, you know, because it's away from statutory legislation. There's a little bulldog, beautiful little thing there. All right, so I'm gonna shoot now, okay? But you know, have a look at the banking system and see what's going on now, because there's some big bad things that are coming very, very soon, and it's already started in the United States, and it's going to spread rapidly. So you know, I wouldn't be holding massive chunks of cash in the bank, you know, if I was in that position. You know, if nothing else, I'd be buying. It's just like what I'm saying. It's certainly not financial advice, and definitely not legal. I don't want to be legal. It's a hideous system. It isn't a good system whatsoever. You know, you should be standing in equity, not in the statutory legislation, the legal system. It's so corrupt, and it's designed to be corrupt as well. But you know, like, I would be, if I did have like anything like spare in the bank now, I would just be buying, if nothing else, and you're terrified of like the digital currency, I'll be getting gold and silver, because you can always sell it again, can't you, and get, like, you know, your fiat back. But once the bank takes it, and they are going to take it, just like all these people, and they're going to get a certificate to say that you're owed money by the bank, yeah, good luck with that then. So, you know, just have a check and have a look around, see what's going on, see how everything's collapsing, and like all of the distractions that they've got going on, this Gary Lineker bullshit, it's just to keep you away from watching what's going on, you know, like in America, like that Tucker Carlson, you know what I mean, he's talking, showing these videos of everything, you know, that we all knew as well, that January the 6th thing, which is 2 years ago as well, you know, and they're talking about it still now. Why? Who cares? The people in prison care, I suppose, right? But it's just showing that the police were letting them in and allowing them to do whatever they wanted to do. But that's just a distraction to stop everybody watching what is going on now, and to stop it, so, like, you know, that everybody's exiting the realm faster and faster and faster, you know, because they all took the jelly beans, and now they have glue instead of blood, and the financial system is just going to collapse. So you're going to end up literally with owning nothing and probably being happy in an unhappy way. All right, so stop getting carried away with the distractions, which is what there's a lot of, like, this, what do you call this, truth movement, which I'm definitely not part of, and all of that is, a lot of it is just distraction as well, mouthing off greed and nastiness and distraction to stop people paying attention to the important stuff, as in, like, you know, how am I going to be eating some food in the next 6 months when everything collapses, you know, and whatever sort of like fiat currency that you do have, you'd be lucky to take a wheelbarrow to go and buy a loaf of bread, a wheelbarrow full of cash, like, to go and buy a loaf of bread, just like Germany, and, you know, after the First World War. And the printing machines were just printing and printing and printing tons and tons and tons of this fiat currency. Only they don't need the printing shops nowadays, because it's all just digital, isn't it? Press a button on the computer and there's tons of zeros come up everywhere. But anyway, I'm going on and on and on. I did a video yesterday, and I just, like, I didn't want to put it up. And today is like an even sadder day, because I'm here to go and get some crystals to bless my my little baby Keegan. Anyway, see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Take care of yourselves.